My name is Tamara Jade. I am from Bowie, Maryland, originally. PG County all day.
Okay.
I sing a lot of different things, but mainly I'm a soul artist, singer-songwriter. I studied opera for about 10 years, grew up in church singing gospel, studied jazz in college. So I'm just like this good old melting pot of music.
Yes.
So first and foremost, what I want people, especially on this platform, to know about me is before anything else, I'm a musician. I was a working musician before I was anything else.
Cool.
The artistry was birthed out of that. So
Yes.
more than anything else, I'm a lover, a consumer, and a creator of music and art. I love it. It is my life's work. It is my passion. It is a part of my purpose or a vehicle for achieving said purpose. And yeah, I'm 31 years old, if that's important. I'm single, so, heterosexual. So if any dark chocolate, tall, handsome men, but yeah.
Yes. Well, we love you. I'm so happy to have you. Tamara and I, so we've met in several different circles, but like just recently in the last like year or so really connected. It's funny because, through my own artistry, she actually reached out to me and was like, yo, I can help you with some things. You are like on stage dancing and singing. It's hard enough to be like singing already, and now you trying to dance. You need some breath. Let me give you some tips. And she, at first, I love her energy because I actually always embrace help. Like, I'm not one of those people that's like, I just want to know it all. I don't want any help. And I appreciated that she came to me and just said, look, I can give you some tips. Like, you're doing your thing, but I can make you better. Let me help you. And she did just that. And for me, that was really what it was. I mean, obviously she's super talented and a great person, but when you reach out to a fellow creative and just say, look, I have a resource for you, or I have a tip, or I have something that can help you, I really, really grew to really love and respect her for that. And so that's how our sort of friendship, began. And then we've done other situations. We've talked about, being light skinned, dark skinned. I know I look super white up here today, but we've talked about those things, how it impacts us in the industry and all of that. And so I am just so happy for you and the things that you are doing. And I look to you to just continue to be that beacon of light. This industry, as we all know, is a beast. And I just continue to pray for you, even when you don't know it. A few times I've sent her little ideas at like 4 a.m, like, hey, think about this. Just let me give back how I can. But I'm so happy for you. So just continue to let that light shine. You're doing amazing things. So, yes. So today's topic is audition prep. So Tamara has been on tons of auditions. We know this throughout, her career. And so I thought it would be important for us to have a guest who could talk about how to prep for an audition. And this is across the board, not just singing. So I figured that we would ask you a few questions where we give tips for people who are either already experienced or are still, are new and coming into the industry, on tips on how to land an audition or just how to prepare. So my first question is, how do you prepare for different auditions, whether it be television or an agency band, which, that's a different thing. How do you prepare before an audition?
The first thing I do for an audition is I do my research. I know who it is I'm going to audition for, whether it's a casting company or an agency. I'm going to know some things about the agency, similar to any job interview that you would go on. You should know what you're going into, who you're going in to meet, who you're going in to appeal to, and what they even like and what they're even looking for.
Sure.
So that's the main thing. Just even seeing, one of the best pieces of advice I got. It sucks that it has to be like this, but it's true. When I moved to New York, a good friend of mine who went to high school with me here, he told me, you got to know your type. And it really sucks to have to be in these boxes.
Yeah.
but it is what it is, right? You can be out of the box when it's your stuff. When you're auditioning for someone else's stuff, you better get you in that box.
Get in that box and give them what they asked for.
That's
They
true.
didn't ask you unless they asked you to come and do what they want you to do. Even if you have a good idea, I feel like you have to temper that, right? Like, let me give the idea, but let me get in first. Before you start giving ideas, get there first. Get the job first. And then do your job.
Ooh, that's really true, because you know what? In that Lizzo audition, and you're auditioning the whole time. You're not just auditioning when you open your mouth or when you're playing or whatever. You're auditioning from the minute you walk into that door.
Yeah.
So even little things that you may think may be funny, or maybe you don't know people. You do not know people, and you don't know people's humor. And I am a big comedian. I am a huge, clown. But you audition Tamara is a whole different person.
Yeah. But it's even just to your point though, when you go on a job interview though, like I'm always, you know who I'm mindful to really be cool with? The receptionist. The receptionist knows everybody going in and out. And on gigs, the sound man. When we were doing stuff at the Fillmore, the first person I go straight. Listen, I know I'm just the opener. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I know the focus is on the major artist, but you know, I promise I'll be out of your hair. My team. I go and I talk to them, and they're more willing to help you out. They don't have to, but they're more willing to help you out a little bit if they just see that you're like actually kind of nice.
Right.
So
to that point also. That from the musician side, that's very much basically discipline.
Yes.
Call it, because I tell people a lot, younger musicians, like, you know, we can appreciate all the extra, all the runs and all this, you know, this and that, but there are gigs and, you know, there are, you know, areas where you're going to be playing it. They don't want to hear all that.
They don't want to hear all that.
You learn the song.
Play the song, sing the record.
And that's what I find myself telling a lot of younger musicians. Learn how to play the song the way it go.
Yeah. The way it go.
Play it the way it go, and then
sing the melody.
Yeah. Right, that's what I'm saying. And then we'll go from there if they want something.
Yeah.
I've even learned from different genres of music. They'll shut you down. They'll quickly be like, I remember being on an African gig and I was playing with some of the
they was like, no.
With some of the musicians. We started
1 4 5 1, sis. That's it. That's it.
We started vibing. They was like, no, thank you.
No, thank you.
No, we don't want that. Just play.
Calm down.
Seriously. So it's just discipline.
Yeah.
Play it the way it goes. Sing it the way it goes.
That's funny.
It's true.
So do your research. Know your people. Did you have anything else for the preparation part?
I would say actual rehearsal for an audition, right?
Yeah.
Like any rehearsal is really important. How you rehearse, how you practice.
Yeah.
But I literally rehearse like how I'm gonna talk to the people.
Me too.
I rehearse how I'm gonna walk. And I would say the last part of being ready for it, be ready for whatever. Yeah. Like even if you get a very thorough call sheet of what you should prepare, I've been in auditions where it went really well, and then they're like, can we hear something else? And it's like, oh, something else.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for something else.
I will tell you, I made the mistake of this. This is early 2000. Like, I think this was the first year American Idol came out. Maybe the first year, if not the second season. And I auditioned here in D.C. And it went well. I kept going through whatever, stood in that long line, all that stuff. And then when I got to, which to me were like the second tier of producers, one of the white guys was like, you know, can you give us a little bit of like Aretha Franklin, you know, like on the spot, you know? And that's when I kind of really was like, number one, I need to always be prepared. I need to have a good song for every genre of everything. That's when I learned it. Now, mind you, I'm like 18, so I don't really know. Right. But the other thing was, stick to what you know, but do what you do well within that realm. Because here I am now trying to belt like an Aretha Franklin song that I don't know, that I'm trying to like quickly figure out. At the time I have an iPod, not my phone, where I could just grab music quickly. Like if that joint ain't uploaded already, you short. And I'm trying to figure it out. And I should have stuck with my guns and sang the song that I knew, that I came prepared with. I appreciated his feedback, but I think it's because I was black. He was like, give him some soul. Give us some Fantasia or something. And I'm like, I don't do that, but
Right.
to your point, I think you should be prepared though with that. If I do an Aretha Franklin song, it can be a song that I can actually deliver. I'm not wailing for you, sir, because I don't do that. So
It's true. I mean, when this whole like knowing your type thing, I'm
yeah,
sure you've been asked to sing Whitney Houston 800 million times, right? But for
listen,
me, like, I don't like I don't like singing I Have Nothing. I
girl.
actually really, really hate singing that song. But you know what I love singing? I Want to Dance. I hate singing How Will I Know? I wear it out like it's my last chance, but I hate singing it. But you know what I love singing? All the Man I Need. So I think even within those types,
Yeah.
like especially these bigger names that have such extensive
Yes.
catalog, you
Yes.
got to know which version of that person
Of
you
that
are.
you are, because
Are
you
you
know what
are
I
you 8-year-old Michael Jackson or
right,
45-year-old
right. Because
Michael Jackson?
8-year-old was rocking, okay, and 8-year-old was singing to
8-year-old
the
Michael
top.
Jackson
Niggas
is
gotta
nine
read the
times out of
range.
10 going to be a woman,
A
right?
woman,
That's not
absolutely,
Men don't be
absolutely.
singing the Jackson 5 stuff because it's
That's
too high.
it's too high. That's why on agency gigs, all those songs go straight to the women. The I Want You Backs and all that goes straight to the women.
Wow, that's
And
crazy.
look. I am a greatest love of all Whitney Houston, because I've been
Yes.
singing that since
And
I was
and
about
that
5.
song be having me coughing after the first minute.
Okay,
I
but
be
that song is in my greatest love of all and hero, because of all those pageants I used to do. I kill him without a thought. It's easy. It's easy, but I ain't going to How Will I Know, because I don't know.
and again, this is what when it comes down to auditioning, when it talks about rehearsal, when I talk
Yes.
about rehearsal and like really doing your research,
Yeah.
if you're going to go into a casting agency and they are going to ask you to be what it is that you look like, because
Yeah.
that's what it
There
is.
you
That's the name
go.
of the game.
Yep.
You got to know which lanes within that you
That you
occupy.
occupy. I love that. Okay, let me make that point. When you go and audition, they're going to ask you to do what they think you should be able to do. AKA, if you black, you need to know some black songs. But in your black songs, pick the right song from the black artist that they want you to be. So do not sing How Will I Know if your greatest love of all Whitney.
If you
Stick
don't
to
know,
it. If you
if
don't,
you don't
because
know,
you
how
don't
will you
know.
know that
How
don't
will
do
you?
it?
How will you know if you don't know, honey? Okay,
You don't.
stick us.
You
Okay, I love that. Okay, so let me get to this next question. So, are there any new trends, resources, or technology that people can use to prepare for auditions?
I think a new one, which is a really good resource is the Amazing Slowdowner app.
Oh, I'm gonna
Um,
write that down.
it is an app that transposes or adjusts the tempo marking of any song, and it
Okay.
doesn't sound warped when you change it.
Okay.
So sometimes like if you try to slow something down and be sounding like chopped and screwed,
Yes.
it
Yes.
doesn't adjust like the audio quality. So
Okay.
I would say that's a really good thing. So if you can't sit down and plunk it out for yourself, if you can't find karaoke tracks on YouTube, that's
Yeah.
a really great way. Or sorry, if you can find a karaoke track on YouTube, that's a great way where you can mess around with keys.
Got
Right,
you.
right, right.
Because I've
Got
been in
you.
situations where changing the key, changing the tempo is not an option, but that's actually not normal. To
Right.
me, I've been in more situations where you
Where
can
you can.
adjust songs to fit so that's a really good app. It does cost money. I don't think it's terrible. I think it might be like $15 or something
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
Personally, I have the skills to be able to sit and play for myself.
Yeah.
But if it was a song that I really didn't have the time to sit down and plunk out,
Yeah.
that's a really good app. And I have used it because, again, if you can get a karaoke track and transpose it, you can now you have a karaoke track in the right key.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I really think it's an app that I would wholeheartedly recommend.
Okay.
I recommend um, again, YouTube, finding karaoke tracks.
Yes.
If it is a song that is popular enough that someone has done a
Yeah.
karaoke or instrumental or even a piano track too,
Yeah.
so that you train your ear to hear everything. I think
Yeah.
sometimes rehearsing and preparing for an audition, we're so focused into what we are supposed to do and what we are responsible for.
Yeah.
But certain situations, like with agencies, sometimes they're auditioning the band and the singers at the same time.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so they're looking for synergy. They're looking for your ability to gel with people that you've never met. And you really can't do that if you're so laser beam focused on what you're doing. If you're not cued in
Absolutely.
what the drummer's doing, the
Yeah.
drummer might need to give you a little, pull back a little or push a little.
Yeah.
And you're so focused, you don't even know how to ask for support. You're just putting all the responsibility. Okay, now I got to sing the words faster. No,
Right.
slow down.
Slow down. Yeah, stop playing so loud. I didn't get fully comfortable with hearing. Now I paid to rehearse at a rehearsal studio by myself where I can hear myself on a mic because you're never
It does
really
make
hearing your tone if you're singing
sense.
along with somebody else. So those karaoke tracks, even if they sound a little corny sometimes, a little cheesy, depending on what it is, it gets the
Yeah,
job done.
just getting the job
It
done. And
gets the
another
job
thing
done.
that it does help with in terms of talking about learning music by ear for those of you that do,
Yeah.
and for those of you that read music,
Yeah.
or for those of you that have some type of amalgamation of the two. One
Yeah.
thing that I used to do, and I don't really sing in wedding bands no more, so I can tell on myself, but especially if it's a song that I was learning on the way to a gig, which I did a lot.
Shy.
I'm not saying it was the first time I listened to it,
Yeah.
but I am saying I learned it on the
I
way.
learned it on the way.
I would pull up the lyrics, take a
Yep.
screenshot. I usually A to Z lyrics is my favorite lyric database because it just to me has the most accurate lyrics. Some of them be like, that's definitely not what she said.
And I'll be like, I know y'all didn't think she said walk through the mountains, eat the raisins.
Okay.
Come on, y'all.
That's
Come
not
on.
what she
That's
said.
not what she said.
But I will use those karaoke tracks to give me context. So if there's an entrance where I keep messing up my starting pitch because it comes in on a funky note, okay, well, what's happening in the music? And then I make a note to myself. And I am somebody who studied music, so I know how to read music. But lyric sheets don't have notes on them. They just have words.
Yeah.
And there's no space for notations. So for me on a lyric sheet, I make little symbols to myself, and you make up your own language of whatever is good for you. But I'll put an up arrow and say 8VE. That means sing it up the octave, or down with the same key, sing it down the octave. Or I might put some numbers in there. If I can't remember a melody and I'm learning it on the way, and I know especially it's a song I'm never going to sing again, so I really don't care that much, I'm going to write those numbers in, which are, if you know solfege numbers, whatever you know, give yourself that context. Because sometimes time is a privilege that you don't have when you're preparing for an audition.
Listen, especially if you're a working musician, because now you're talking about gig to gig to gig. You may have your one stable gig, the church gig or whatever it is, and then you're filling in with like all these different situations, and you only get but so much leeway, like not to know it. Like people are not calling you and giving you that much slack. I know when I sub on agency gigs, I don't y'all can sing whatever y'all want because I'm here to sub. However, I pick the songs that I know. Hey, I'll do this, this, and this. I'm not really trying to learn new songs when I'm subbing. But sometimes if you're full blown subbing, you do not have time to learn like 10 new songs in like 2 days and really execute them.
Yeah, and let me take that. I'm so glad you said that, Tam. Just about taking notes.
Yes.
Listen, that is like one of the biggest points that I would stress to anybody that's a working musician. Stop thinking you don't need to take notes. Stop thinking you're going to remember that joint. First of all, if
there's no way.
Yeah. There's no way. Sometimes
there's no way.
No, because I remember having to get on a gig at the last minute. Here's the songs. Oh, it's 20 songs.
my.
But listen, when I was 19, I might have been able to swing that. Nah. But once I wouldn't.
You mean to tell me I gotta remember 20 songs and the grocery list, and I gotta make doctor's appointment and take the chicken out of the freezer?
Yes.
You don't have that capacity after a certain amount of time in your life.
You do not have that luxury. Take notes. It doesn't have to be anything specific, but in terms of like, when you start to just come up with a little quick shorthand that you can remember, like I have started having a little shorthand, and now I just kind of like scan it into my iPad real quick.
Yeah.
And even for me, like I can do a little bit of both. I could do a little bit of the, the reading music or a quick lead sheet or something.
Yeah.
And then I can do my little shorthand, which is a lot of times if you just play the first note, I'm good for the rest of the song.
Yeah,
so I might even put the first note. I might even put, but it's little
stuff. I have a language.
Take advantage of that.
I have a language, or like, because I don't know if you, Tam, have had this happen as a singer, like if I can get the first 2 notes, I can remember the song. But sometimes the band will be playing something and I'm like, oh shoot, I don't know how this song starts. And I need
How did
somebody to tell
it go?
me. And I will turn around. I'll be like, how y'all
Especially
doing
because I
tonight?
learned it on the
Yes.
way.
Look, here I go. How y'all doing tonight? Yeah. How this song go? Yeah. Take it around again, band. Yeah. What? Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I know. Then you get it. Because it's too much, bro. I'm telling you, it's too much. That's happened to me. My own songs, I've forgotten how they start. Telling the story. If you can't
I was
remember,
in this
it's okay.
production and the choreographer ripped us a new one because they're giving out notes. And again, Tech Week, everything changes. I mean,
Yeah.
everything. And so he was so disappointed that and it wasn't that we weren't, into it. We were tired. We were just like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So make sure you get down. We get down stage a little bit faster. Got it. Like,
Yeah.
and when he said that, it was like he was like, we have a day off tomorrow. So when you go open your book tomorrow to go, practice, how you gonna remember these little things? And it was like, oh, so fast forward to last year, I was hosting an event for one of my good friends. And the band he hired, it was like a house band situation where every person, like you said, you get a call for a gig and you don't know, it may be 20 songs. And it was one of those, it was a review. Or not a review, it was a showcase. So every person had a different song. And first of all, I came into town for this event. So I was already like, okay, let's get to business. I was tired. I rode straight on the bus, came, so I'm there. And I realized that every artist is just taking 30 minutes, 40 minutes in their rehearsal with the band. And I'm like, but you singing one song. So why are you in there for longer than 15, 20 minutes at the most?
Yeah.
And then I finally get in there because I'm like, well, put me last since I'm the host. I have a couple songs. It's fine. After 30 minutes of them going around and around with his song that they did not know, and it was a very intricate musical theater song from Dear Evan Hansen, and had a lot of hits, had a lot of lines, had a lot of syncopation, a lot of dropouts. And they're going through, and the only person who is taking any notes is the person who is serving as MD, who I personally know. She's an incredible musician. The only she in the bunch, was sitting there taking notes. She already had context, already kind of knew it. And she was playing keys, and keys is not her first instrument, drums is. So she's the only one taking notes, and they're going round and around and around. And about the 8th time that they're running this song, I said, I'm sorry, and I hope I'm not overstepping, but how are you guys going to remember what to do when I haven't seen not a pen, not a pen, paper, not a note on your phone, not a voice memo, and you sitting over there on Instagram, sir?
Whoa.
And in the moment, the room got incredibly tense and uncomfortable, but I didn't want any more of my time being wasted.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I also came with karaoke tracks just in case that would happen, and it did.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And the gag is after the gig, so he had to hire another musician to come in and save the day. And they still played, but he already told me, yeah, they're never getting a call from me again. And if people ask me for a reference with regards to them because they saw them with me, I'm already going to tell them what it is. But they actually came to me after the gig and thanked me for what I said. They said,
Yeah.
you know what? You were right. Because one of them said, well, I just got this gig yesterday. And I said, I just got in town today.
Yeah.
So you had the whole context of, and I get it because I'm a working musician. Remember, I said I learn music on the way to gigs too. Nobody's gonna tell you to not do that. There's not enough hours in the day, and sometimes that's how it goes. However, make the work environment a productive environment.
There you go.
And know your bandwidth. If you know you can't remember something within an hour, like I know lyrics are my thing. So I literally write them. That's the only way. I mean, from school, I know myself. I'm not going to remember lyrics, but I'm a visual person. So if I write it down and copy it once, I'll remember it. And also the way that I screenshot the lyrics allow me to visually see it. You talking about the karaoke tracks, when you have those different ones that have the lyrics within them, it visually helps me to put the lyrics where they need to go within the music. But I know that about myself. So I'm not going to try to learn a very wordy song on the way to the gig, because that ain't gonna work unless I know the iPad is about to be there.
And I will
So
tell you this, for the younger musicians who are coming up and trying to find their footing and trying to get gigs, as someone who's now on the I had to have, one of my main musicians tell me this the other day, hear it and believe it. I'm like, I'm not in a homie hookup place anymore. So I don't only have to hire people I know who are my friends.
Right.
I'm at the stage
yeah.
where I'm probably going to start auditioning people for band
Mm,
now.
yeah.
And so for a person like me, again, I'm a working musician, so I can spot out of bass players are the worst at this, Keandra. Y'all will not know a song and substitute your way through the whole song, honey. And lick your way through the whole song. And I am not one of the people when you are you can pull the wool over people's eyes who are not musicians
There you
sometimes. You
go.
should never
Right.
attempt to pull wool over people's eyes. You
For
should.
sure.
But I'm a musician. I know when the most incredible, skilled, talented musician does not know a song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
that is totally true because just as musicians, you can't turn that off, right? You can't turn off the stuff that you hear. So,
It's
like, I could
sore
go to a
thumb. It's like,
show. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I could go to a concert where I'm not playing and I can immediately say, oh man, they don't know the song. You
Wow.
know.
oh,
And I didn't know bass players were the worst at that. But it goes back to
oh,
that
honey,
whole
they were
just being yes, yes.
hey.
No.
No, today that's gonna be our theme song for the show.
Right.
You better get
But
off of
it's
that.
true.
Get
Look,
back onto the melody.
So the key things from audition prep with Tamara Jade: do your research. Know who you going to audition
yeah.
for.
Yep.
Be clear on that. Stay in your, get out the lane, but get back in the lane, right? Like get on the right street, but also stay in your lane,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Get on their street, but stay in
You
your
can't drive
lane.
into oncoming traffic, sis.
Okay,
Yeah.
go where you know. And of course, like take notes, like be clear. And I think that a lot of us do. This is the whole point of the platform, right? This is passion. So when people think passion, they don't apply discipline, focus, organizational skills to passion, because for most people it's supposed to be a getaway from all of that. But when you are literally making your passion work for you, you do have to apply day-to-day life skills. And so I feel like if we want both consumers, clients, and our peers to take us seriously and pay us what we're worth and really find value in what we do, then we do have to apply. And it's something that I wish that I knew before. Not that I didn't take it, not that I ever took it for granted, but I didn't see the connection of like, hey, whether it's your passion or your 9 to 5, you still have to be like on time and organized and steady.
And I would say, like,
go ahead.
if I could sum it all up,
Sure.
stay ready so you ain't got to get ready.
So you ain't got to get ready. Yeah,
That's,
absolutely.
it's called. You don't prepare. When I got the Lizzo call, like I said, it was midnight. It was midnight, and I had to be in New York audition at 3 p.m. the next day. There wasn't any time, and I will say, knowing her catalog helped. I'm a fan. I was a fan before I worked for her, so it wasn't the first time that I'd heard any of those songs. So I say, when you're getting into these audition rooms, if you have to dance, it shouldn't be the first time you've ever danced before.
Absolutely.
Right? If you know you're going to start, if you desire a career where you are entertaining, you're moving, you're hosting, who don't be in the laundry room doing interviews by herself?
Oh my God. On the way to places, I'm like, yes. So Oprah, so I was thinking that, when I was working on my project, like I got it down. Like when she's ready to call me, I'm ready. Cause I have rehearsed my interview with Oprah for sure. But I feel you. So Tam, we appreciate you so much for coming on. You are my girl. I'm so happy for you.
Yes. I'm so glad that you called. Thank you so much. This is part of my passion and part of my purpose, right? The vehicle is music, the vehicle is creativity, but the actual purpose is to leave a legacy, in the earth. So I appreciate opportunities like this to do that. And, we've been talking about audition prep. So if you want to see the biggest audition of my life to date, you can head to YouTube. I am a member of the cast of season 19 of The Voice. And my audition currently has over 3 million views on Facebook and over 1 million views on YouTube. So check it out. It'll make all of this that we just talked about make a lot of sense. And if you want to continue to just follow my journey as an artist, you can follow me on all social media platforms at Tamara Jade Music, TAMARA Jade Music. Head over to my website, www.tamarajademusic.com. And I have music available on all streaming platforms, but you should also buy it. Uh,
Yeah.
Tamara Jade, my debut album, debut EP, Self Aware, is up in a few singles. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes.
Continue to support this show and platforms like this because you need it, we need it, and it.
Yes. Yes. Well, we love you. Thank you so much. We are sending you well wishes. We know that you have so much more in store. So thank you. And thank you for also just being a very down to earth person as you continue to soar. I know that that really is just the core of who you are in general. That, like you said, the gift is the voice and all of that. But really, the whole purpose of all of this is to be able to be a touchable superstar. That's what I call it. So
I like that.
It to me,
I'm gonna
a
stop that.
touchable superstar. So good. Well, thank you all for tuning in to PassionWorks 101. I am Patrice Ladd,
Kendra.
and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Peace.